Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here, got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which of course means it's time for another one of our weekly viewer specials. If you're new to the channel or series, we do this every single Monday, showcasing games from you all, rather than seeing just me play all the time. If you want to get your replays in for the viewer special, you're going to want to head down to the description below. There you'll find an invite link to our Discord server, the Hexlexplex. Once you are over there under the Master Duel section is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions. There you can drop your 9-digit player ID so I can see your publicly saved replays. Please do make sure this ID is entered correctly and that your replays are set to public, that way I am able to view them. If you have more than one replay you want to submit, that's totally fine. But if you have one specific game you want me to see, make sure you leave the date and time, your opponent's name, or a screenshot, something that I know that that's the duel you want me to see. But that's pretty much all there is to it, so let's not waste any more time and get right on into seeing your duels. Alright, so our first game comes to us from Toadette, and it's definitely going to be this one here. So we are going to be playing the new Gem Knight support combined with Tearlaments. Was really hoping somebody would submit a replay using the new Gem Knight cards, because I think this deck, this archetype in general, looks really cool. And yep, as we can see here, Toadette is using them in conjunction with Tearlaments. Brilliant Fusion, definitely at 3 does provide something of a power boost for Tearlaments. So we're going to see just how good that ends up being. Moreover, though, is our opponent, who may look somewhat familiar to you, or at the very least, the World Championship Cosmetics might look familiar. This is that Ray, by the way, as in the same Ray who participated in the Worlds, and I don't think I need to explain, is a very, very good player, to say the literal least. So this is the Malice list. Ray was on, still using the Nightmare Cerberus. Also, I've been kind of debating if Lancia is still worth it, and when I was playing Ryzeal, I put Lancias in. I think I might just put Lancias in my Malice build too. Like, yeah, there are lines to play around it, but like, I don't know, you still have to open the backup at Ignister, and I think Lancia is still at least like somewhat solid, but alright, let's go ahead and take a look at this duel. We're going second as well, so going second against Malice is terrifying in pretty much any context, but when you're up against somebody who is at the World Championships, it definitely makes it at least a bit scarier. Alright, let's see what we got here. Pretty good going second hand, actually, all things considered. We got Herald of Orange Light and Keldo the Sacred Protector. Keldo should come up here as well. It might be easy to think, oh, but Malice is a banish deck. Why would shuffling stuff back in the graveyard matter? Same reason the Bystials actually do matter against Malice. Namely Splash Mage. Splash Mage and Link Decoder are going to be some of the main reasons why I think that's quite good. We're going to use Eva to search another copy of Herald of Orange Light here, since we sent that with our first Herald. Ray setting a card before linking the March Hare into Lingarimo here, and then passing. Okay, so looks like the first Orange Herald was enough to stop the plays, but we didn't really top deck any plays ourselves, so we're just gonna have to go set 3 pass here. Still hanging on to that Orange Herald plus Keldo. Ray throwing down another Malice and Underground. We're chaining Tearlaments Heartbeat. Obviously, chaining to the field spell effect means that once this resolves, it will no longer, well, resolve. Once the Heartbeat resolves, the Malice and Underground will no longer resolve, I should say. Top decking Maxi here. We're going to normal summon Orange Herald and actually crash with the Lingarimo here. Which, to be honest, I don't hate, because it's not like we have a target for Orange Herald anyway. Wow, is that a third Malice and Underground? Good lord. It's not like we have a third target anyway, and also beyond that, the Lingarimo on the board does represent a body to link stuff off with. Like even if there was another copy of Malice and Underground coming down, if Ray had summoned a Hand Trap, like normal summon Hand Trap go into Almirage, then Lingarimo plus Almirage can make Splash Mage and then revive Malice cards and go into full Malice combo. So I think crashing with the Lingarimo with our Herald of Orange Light was definitely the right call there. Got the call by on the March Hare, so that way that's negated. And I think that's pretty much all we've got. We've got a Feedsmith tracked now, thanks to that Max C, so that can get us into something at the very least. Discarding the Eva, this will trigger the Eva's effect. Adding another copy of Herald of Orange Light, normal summon Lacrima. Opponent's going to chain Imperm. which is pretty rough, but of course we can still link into Requiem and do all that fun stuff. If we wanted to, we're going to go battle here over the Dormouse. And then main phase 2, we're going to link. Smart to do that, just battle over the Dormouse so we know we have the body to do so. Never know, there could be like a Call By or an Ash Blossom against this Requiem, or a Dominus Impulse. There we go. See, if we had done that before battling over the Dormouse, we would have been in a much worse spot. Again, it would have taken just, you know, top deck any normal summonable hand trap to go into Alm Rush to be able to full combo from there. Ooh, but Ray does top deck a Gold Sark here, which is still really bad for us. Banishing yet another Dormouse. Dormouse F to summon, Dormouse F to banish. Looks like there's a White Rabbit coming down. White Rabbit effect to set. It's going to set the GWC. Now we do still have the Keldo in the yard, and it looks like Ray is being mindful of that, choosing to go battle phase before linking stuff off here. I was going to say, we can't go straight into Splash Mage here, because that would just result in Splash Mage pass, but it's like Link Decoder, oh, into SP Little Knight, and then we're going to use SP to banish the Keldo. Yep, okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's the World Championship difference, you know? I think a lot of players would have just kind of assumed they were SOL, but, you know, if you recognize that you have an obstacle in your way, it's less about, you know, how insurmountable is this obstacle, and the question you should be asking is, what do I have to do to surmount this obstacle, you know? Drawing into Ash Blossom, still no Tearlament plays here. We're going to go for the Requiem, try to equip to the Little Knight. Ray's going to chain Little Knight, or sorry, to equip to the Lacrima. Ray's going to chain Little Knight. But then we can go Engraver, put back the Requiem to summon. Link off into, I assume, the Requiem again. And we could just go normal summon Link into sequence. But of course we want to cycle more, you know, Fiend bodies into the graveyard. That way we have 3, because I think that was exactly 3 because the Lacrima's banished, right? We're trying to go for Desiree, which would be good here. Yeah, it's 3 Fiend bodies, so... Oh, we're actually going for the Fiends. Well, we would need the 3 bodies anyway if we're going for Fiends with Lacrima, because we need to bring back the Engraver. That makes sense. Ray's throwing out last card, Lancia. And then, of course, GWC, gonna revive the March Hare to tank one of these shots, but now we're in a really good spot. Ray's pretty much in top deck mode, and we have the ability to make, looks like we're going for Caesar here. You have, oh no, we're going for Pilgrim Reaper, of course, because we're on the Tearlaments variant. And we hit a Tearlaments Scream as well as the Gem Knight Nephirim. So the Nephirim, this is actually one of the reasons why Gem Knights can play with Tearlaments, because you mill it and then you can discard and then summon. Then from there you get to add a Gem Knight card, and you're pretty much just like off to the races because you still get the extra normal on top of that. Pretty easy to see how Gem Knights and Tearlaments can mesh up here. Now, what did Ray mill? What did we see over there? Imperm, Impulse, Wizard, White Rabbit. Okay. I think it mills in order from top to bottom, so it looks like top deck would have been Imperm. I guess it would have been a trap card either way, right? Alright, looks like we're going to end up making a 3-material Appaloosa before going for the Brilliant Fusion, and that's actually going to be enough to concede. Get the concede in. Wow. You know, it's one thing to, like, face a Worlds competitor on ladder. That's happened to me before, where, like, you throw out, like, a Maxi or something and they just kind of, like, concede quickly. But to face a Worlds competitor in a going second game against Malice, have it be this back and forth, and we never really saw our tier limit support either. That is very impressive. That was a very, very good game, Toadette. Thank you so much for that submission. But we're far from done. We got 2 more to go, so let's take a look at our next duel here. All right, next game comes to us from Dr. Maxis. Dr. Maxis has a game featuring some of the new support as well. Dr. Maxis is probably one of the literal handful of people out here who is actually using the new Ad Ignister support in Ad Ignister. This is something that I would like to try as well, although I will be completely honest, it has been so very long since I've played Ad Ignister. I'm gonna have to hit up I Wish TCG, which, by the way, here on the channel, I Wish TCG helped me I say helped me make, pretty much guided as I recorded, a Adignister combo guide that I've heard a lot of people really found useful. So I'm really glad that we were able to, well, again, mostly he was able to provide some good knowledge for you. But yeah, Ignister with the actual new Ignister support. Very eager to see how this is going to play out. Yeah, all right, and then it looks like our opponent is going to be on a fusion pile, kind of like Toadette was in our last duel, except instead of just Gym Knight and Tearlaments, looks like this is branded plus Tearlaments and some of the new Gym Knight support as well. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this game here. Yeah, Dr. Maxis says this replay is just the most basic line with one card, Achiri or Pikiri, going into the Firewall Brothers, etc. Nice part is extension of the new cards. It means you don't have to even use AI land if you go uninterrupted. Wow. That's actually kind of insane, given how important AI land the field spell is. Like, at least when I was playing Ignister, the field spell was so important, but I can see it. I mean, backup plus wizard provides so many bodies on board. I can definitely see how, with the right hand, you don't even need the field spell. And that might even be demonstrated here. We'll see. Alright, so we got the Dark Infant. I almost called it Baby. Plus the backup Secretary going into Splash Mage. Gotta say, really not a fan of the Splash Mage ban in the TCG. I'm not going to turn this video into a TCG rant video. But, I mean, if you want to see me rant about the TCG list, let me know in the comments below. It's something I've done before, but... So we summoned this Synchro monster. Wait, we used the backup Secretary, right? Because that's a tuner. So, special backup. And then we had the Wizard. Yep, and then that's how we made Firewall Saber Dragon. I saw this in the extract. What does this do again? Put a Cyber Sponsor and pay for the add it to your hand, or another Cyber Sponsor to the level. This card only comes at level. Since in the graveyard is link material, you can add an AI spell from your deck to your hand. Okay, there we go. There we go. And we're using that to add AI Connect. I believe this is, yeah, one of the new spell cards here. Revealing a dark in order to special summon and then add a level 4 lower non-dark Cyber from deck. It's going to be the Hiyari Ignister. And sure enough, this field spell is still just chilling in our hand. Again, the Ignister Island, which is like so, or was so important to Ignister comboing, now completely optional. Pivoting into the math back portion of our line, using Almbertian to search Circular, dumping Sigma, and then Sigma F to special summon. Now we can go Circular F to search the Mathmech equation for linking all three into Dark Templar Ignister. I didn't realize I had a summon animation, or maybe it got one? I don't think it always did it? I remember this part, yep. The Dark Templar and the Infant bounce it out of the zone, and then you can summon 3. Making it divine, yep. You don't have to make it divine, but it's like, you might as well. Alright, here's the G-Golem. Ignister, pretty infamous for cycling through pretty much its entire extra deck on turn 1 here. Using the G-Golem to revive the transcode, and then I believe this is where, yep, we start summoning the Firewall Brothers. Which is, of course, going to be Firewall Dragon, Dark Fluid, and then, is it Terahertz? No, we don't play Terahertz, right? It's the other one. Singularity, that's the one, yep. Firewall Dragon puts back G-Golem and adds back Hiyari, as well as special summoning that Hiyari. Now we can link all of these into Firewall Dragon Singularity. Which then brings back our Link Decoder. Transcode Talker still has not activated its effect. That's actually insane. I didn't even realize that. Reviving the Dark Templar Ignister. This is what lets us summon the Firewall Dragon Dark Fluid. And then those counters are what let it negate. Bringing back the Almbertian, we can summon Gachiri Ignister. Oh, and then this is going to be the Allied Code Talker. Yep, this is how we're going to finish off. And I believe Singularity actually revives Firewall Dragon. Yep, Singularity will revive Firewall Dragon during the opponent's turn. Once Allied Code Talker sends something, would have to be the thing next to... Oh no, we're just reviving it right now. Oh, because we sent something right for the Link Summon, of course. Yeah, I always forget that counts. Even though I don't know why it wouldn't, but... So yeah, there it is, the 3 Firewall Brothers plus Allied Code Talker at Ignister. And without using the field spell. So yeah, suffice it to say, the Ignister support was huge for the Ad Ignister deck. It is just a little bit of a shame of how that support gets overshadowed for how good the Ignister support is for Malice as well. But I still like this Ignister support, and I like support like this. I don't think new support always has to make a deck tier 1, but I like it when support just keeps a deck relevant. And I think this new backup Ad Ignister and Wizard Ad Ignister, and of course the Allied Code Talker as well as the spell card, were all very, very good for keeping Ad Ignister like sort of meta relevant, right? Like again, it's not like, you know, Ad Ignister with the new support is like a tiered deck. I wouldn't even really call it tier 3, but Ad Ignister is a deck that was upper rogue for a long while and just started slowly slipping off, just due to the sheer power creep. And yeah, I think it's important to give decks like this support to help them keep up, even if they do end up getting, you know, some would say misused in other decks. But in any case, thank you very much, Dr. Maxis, for that game. It was very, very good. We have time for one more, so let's finish off with one last duel. And our final game comes to us from Lord Cooler 90. Lord Cooler 90's got a game where we are going to be playing Labyrinth. It's been a while since we've had a lab game featured, and despite the fact that I never played this deck, I do still like it a fair bit. So wanted to give Lab some time in the spotlight here. And then our opponent is going to be on Malice. A lot of going second games against Malice. This one's like kind of all over the place with its tags. This is kind of something that I've talked about before that is actually very well demonstrated here. I don't like playing a bunch of one-offs for non-engine, right? So like we have like one Lubellion with the one Regain. I only play one Regain, but only one Lubellion with only 2 other Bestials. One Droplet is super awkward. One Ultimate Slayer is super awkward. One Dominus Impulse is super awkward given how good this is against the mirror match. One Lancia is really awkward. I mean, I guess we're playing it as a cross-out target, but we're not even playing 2 Callbys or 3 Ash Blossoms here. And maybe this person doesn't own those copies, but they should have prioritized crafting them over some of this other stuff. Either way, like, I don't think that playing, like, so many random one-offs is actually going to be helpful in the long run, especially for consistency, which is really, really important in Best of 1. It's more important than a lot of other stuff. And I don't think using 3 Allures... The fact that there's 3 Allures kind of makes me think that maybe this person's a little short on URs. Like, they definitely, of course, should be playing the second Gold Suck over any amount of Allures. But, again, we're even missing stuff like the 3rd Ash Blossom and the 2nd Callby here, which is just, like, kind of meh. But it's still Malice, you know? It's not like it's not capable of doing the things that Malice does. It just is going to do it less consistently. But, I mean, either way, going second against Malice is a pretty scary prospect. They have 3 of all the, like, important, like, in-archetype starters, so... I can still very easily just go Dormouse, like normal summon Dormouse, and then we're pretty terrified. Although we do have Nibiru here, so if it's not pretty much exactly Dormouse, then it is going to end up within Nib range here. I mean, I say exactly Dormouse, but there are other hands. See, that's the thing, though. A lot of people are not playing Nibiru right now because of how Malice and Ryzeal can play against it naturally, but Malice really only plays, its line only really inherently has outs to Nib if you open Dormouse. If you open, like, any other starter, it starts to get really awkward when you have to factor in Nibiru. So I'm actually considering putting Nibiru back into some of the lists that I've taken it out of. Yeah, this person's playing really hard into Nibiru. Although they kind of had to, well... What all have they been playing from their hand? Let me see if I can deduce what they've opened based on what they've played so far. So they led with Activate Regain to activate Allure. Allure banished White Rabbit. White Rabbit said MTP, sure. And then MTP banished to add. And then normal summon Dormouse because we allured for White Rabbit. Activate banished Chessy Cat. And that's where we're at pretty much right now. I mean, it just so depends on what they drew off of Allure. If they opened with White Rabbit and nothing else, or if all they had really was White Rabbit and nothing else, then yeah, they can't really avoid playing into Nibiru. And it looks like that was the case given that they used MTP to search for Dormouse. And sure enough, here's a big rock. Okay, they get to use Regain to summon back Magnum Hut. That's pretty much it. Okay, another D-Barrier. D-Barrier, of course, not going to be super useful against Malice because it can't call Link, and that is pretty much all Malice does is Link summon. Not even pretty much, it is exclusively all that Malice does. But we get to use Coup Clock here to go for the big welcome lab, summoning the lovely lady herself. Bouncing back our Nibiru. Definitely a tool we would like to have again. Popping a card from their hand ends up being Malice in the Mirror. Gonna set the big welcome with Lovely, setting our other two trap cards, battling over their Nib token before they go in phase. Drew a Swarm, banishing the Coup Clock out of our graveyard, and then shuffling it back to draw off of the Regained. Okay, yeah, getting a draw in during the end phase, that makes sense, as well as getting a body on board. Normal summon White Rabbit, we're gonna chain Terrors of the Overroot, which, what does this one do again? Hang on. Turn a card your opponent controls, card of the graveyard, set that card of the graveyard, set the other card. Got it. Okay, so we're basically swapping out the face-up White Rabbit for a face-down Dormouse. By banishing a face-up Malice monster you control. So this does cut them off from access to their Malice stuff here, barring another extender in hand, like a March Hare or something. Get to pop the face-down GWC. They're going to link into Little Knight using the two Bestial monsters. This triggers the Druid Swarm to try to send the Lovely. We're going to chain Big Welcome to special summon probably a lady from our deck. Yes, and then bounce the Lovely so that way it doesn't get popped. Regained activates, resummoning the Magnum Hut. This will trigger to search. And Code of Soul coming down next. Okay. Code of Soul plus Little Knight linking into Transcode Talker. But pointing down to... Oh, that's brutal. Yeah, definitely should have been summoned over here, because Transcode has summoned to the zone that it points to. Oh, and they could have brought back... Oh, no, Little Knight's actually a warrior. Oh, they could have brought back Lingaribo. Yeah, could have brought back Lingaribo by putting Transcode here, and then summoning Lingaribo here. But with this set monster, we can't do anything with this zone. So putting Transcode over here was a misplay for our opponent. D-Barrier Call Fusion. But that's mostly just to let us activate the lady here, and then we're gonna Nibiru them yet again. Brutal. Just devastating. I mean, they knew we had the Nib at this point. It's like, I don't really know how much they could have planned around it, but they probably should have. In phase, Magnum Hut's gonna add back that Druid Swarm. Then we're gonna go for turn. Drawing Maxine, normal summoning Ariana, but it's going to chain Branded Regained, summoning Magnum Hut again. Branded Regained is a very annoying card. I still don't think it's worth playing in Malice at all. Alright, going for the big welcome lab here. Opponent's going to chain Druid Swarm, banishing the Lady Lab from our graveyard. We're, of course, going to throw out this Maxi, getting a free draw in, because why not? If all goes well, they won't be special summoning much during our turn anyway. So, ooh, Ariana, or Res rather, seems like a pretty solid draw. Summoning the Lovely Lab and bouncing the Nibiru yet again. Just cycling this Nibiru pretty much infinitely at this point. At this point, it might be worth just popping this Regained. Our opponent's been gaining a lot of advantage off of it. Although I guess, yeah, we do have to get rid of the Nib token too. We did that last turn too, right? As much as this Regained shouldn't be in a Malice deck, this is actually going to be, like, or that card is actually giving us kind of the biggest trouble right now. Which kind of makes sense because, you know, we've successfully grinded the game down into a control state. And Branded Regained is actually an extremely good control card. I would argue Branded Regained is, like, the main reason that Bestial control decks, like, work. Because that card puts in so much work. Alright, looks like they found a Malice in Underground going for a March Hare. March Hare banishing the Dormouse. Dormouse F. We're going to chain the big Welcome Lab. And that's going to allow us to special summon another Lady Lab from deck and then return back to hand. Which is pretty smart, because that means that we can then, like, Nibiru and then potentially summon Lady Lab later. We also get to pop a card here with the Lovely Lab, which is probably going to be the Regained at this point. I don't think going after a card in their hand is, like, the most worth anymore. Alright, we're going for the field spell instead. Which I think they were only playing 2 of the trap card. I guess not that we do that, but Yeah, the field spell didn't have any more real relevance to us at this point. But here's our third Nibiru of the game, by the way. Not even 3 copies, just the same Nibiru 3 times. It's absolutely insane. Druiswarm is going to try to finally get rid of this Nib once and for all. We get summon the Lady Lab here, as mentioned before. Crossout Designator call Lancia, preemptively calling Lancia. Oh, to get the regained draw, that makes sense. And then when they don't find anything, they concede. Well, alright, there we go. That was some pretty classic lab gameplay, if I do say so myself. Thank you very much for that, Lord Cooler, as well as everybody else who submitted. As always, as ever, we could not do this series without you submitting, so I really, really do appreciate all of the support. And again, if you want to get in on the viewer special and have your game featured, you can do so by joining the Discord, link in the description below. But that is going to do it. Thank you so very much for watching, as always. Let's move on now to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which by the way is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.